Alrighty, cool. We've got Andy Anderson here. How you doing, Andy?
Good, yeah, we've just finished this session, live to air from the Stomach. All original songs except for one, but I think it's out of copyright, called Diddy Wah Diddy.
Right,
all the
nice,
rest is original music, and it's just great that this is on. It's a fantastic thing, you know, to celebrate New Zealand music. Yeah.
Cool. And it was sounding awesome. Can you tell us about your current band and your latest recordings?
Well, we did an album called And Songs recently, and got a whole lot of songs on that. In fact, I think we put 12 or 13 songs, all originals. And the band was Jeff Carr on guitar, Hayden Lauritsen, Adrian Fowle, Steve Papworth, and myself. And the band just came together, and I thought they'd just be session musos, you know, because I couldn't afford to do this without, you know, the good prices that were here with Stomach, you know. So did that album, but these new songs, the 4 new songs, a couple of them are on the album, but I threw them down just on guitar, and I wanted to hear what the band would do. And when I told them about this, you know, the Radio Control live to air thing from the Stomach, you know, I went, this might be good. And trying that new, I think it's how Elvis did the recordings, you know, where he'd put a microphone in the hallway and the stairwell, and another one down the bottom, and since my baby left me, you know, and that's how they got that sound. And this is everyone. And I was in a band called Missing Links back in the 60s, and I'm pretty sure it was a similar type of thing as this. The loudest instrument got to the microphone, and that was how the Missing Links done. I'm sure that album was done similarly to this, and that's 60 years ago. And a long time ago, or nearly 60 years ago. So, you know, it's really interesting to go in, and Nigel's, Mark Moschling's really keen to get this new type of recording done. And trying something new, always after new sounds. So that's, now we've got all the songs that were written, now got to start writing some new ones, which is good. But yeah, some of them are left over from film scripts and also unfilmed film scripts and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's been a real buzz, you know. I'm looking forward to hearing the whole thing, everybody, you know.
Cool, awesome. And could you give us some of or one of your favourite New Zealand songs?
I really love Roadie by Fat Freddy's Drop. That's one. Guilty by Dave Dobbin. But I really love that song. I was doing community radio in Australia, and I'd play that and some Fat Freddy's Drop and some other, and in Sydney, and people would call and go, "Who's that?" You know, and now I know that they're famous. They've sort of made it through there, but it was a bit earlier on the first album, so it was really interesting hearing people call up and go, "Who's that?" And you go, "Oh, it's a Kiwi band," you know. And I saw Catch a Fire in LA at the Blues Club. What's it called? The House of Blues in LA, and there was every Kiwi in LA there. You know, all lined up to hear that band. And it was great. They were brilliant, you know. So it's good to see that New Zealand music is going well all over the world. Yeah.
Fantastic. And have you got any great tour stories for us? Maybe some family-friendly ones?
Well, it's funny because in the 60s, I did one of the songs, we did a Bo Diddley song, which isn't original. We don't know whether it's out of copyright or what, but it's called Diddy Wah Diddy. And we recorded it at a thing called the Go Show. And there's some of that left over. You know, they've hung on to the black and white footage. Normally, like we did Grunt Machine and all the early Dragon, early Split Ends. I think the Split Ends are about the only thing left of Grunt Machine. But there was so many really good bands on there. But they had this, so they've got black and white footage of me and the Running Jumping singing Diddy Wah Diddy from 1965, and then back to now with us doing it in here. So that's primarily why I did that song. It's just I thought it'd be quite funny to cut between the two and see what happens. But yeah, tall stories. I can't think of any offhand. No, I can't think of any offhand. One will come as soon as we turn the camera off, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's interesting enough for sure. Cool. And then upon your own request, what's your favourite colour?
Oh, purple and green. Purple, yeah.
Cool.
I know one. I know a thing. I was in a band in the called Corvairs, in Wellington in the early 60s when the Beatles came out, and they came to Wellington Town Hall, and I was out there, you know, yelling up them at the hotel they were at, and they came out to the balcony and waved. And I had 2 seats. I booked 2 seats, one for my girlfriend and one for myself. And I said, "Do you want to go to see the Beatles?" And she said, "No, not really interested." And I went, "Oh, okay." So I had these 2 tickets, and they had a matinee and they had a late show, and then they had another show the next day. And so I swapped it for one at the other show. And we were on the first one that was out there with the fans, and I couldn't hear a thing. But I looked up, and there was my girlfriend in the balcony, screaming for the Beatles. And I just went, "I understand, I understand that." But the next show, I was sitting right behind Ringo, and I was a drummer at the time. I was playing drums for the Corvairs and singing. But I'm sitting behind him, and I knew he'd been sick, and he hadn't come out to Australia. He'd been ill, and they had another drummer filling in for him. But the night that I was there, he was there, and I was sitting directly, no further than here to the camera away from him. I'm watching all his foot pedal patterns and stuff. He's a great drummer. But I was thinking, just fall off that stool, and I'll be up there so quickly, and I won't miss a beat. I might just give him a little squeeze on the way through, and they'll say, "That's the sound we've been looking for." So that's my... I saw Ringo. I ran into Ringo at a certain meeting, and I told him, I said, I owe you an amends for being very unfriendly towards you. And he went, "Oh, yeah, that's all right. Nobody cares." It's all. Yeah. So there's a tall story.
Oh, cool. Sounds great.
I won't tell you about the time Mick Jagger lit my cigarette. That we'll wait for later. That involves. You can't talk about it. Close. Thanks very much for doing this. It's just magic. Thank you.
That's cool. Awesome. Thank you very much. That was Andy Anderson, and thank you so much for playing. It was an awesome live demo we got, and I'm looking forward to hearing it once it's all produced and out there.
Yeah, magic. Thank you.